Yeah, so I have, I know we've been talking a lot about Unreserved, but it has been creeping into my dealings more and more often lately. Both realtors and clients alike. At least in the last 2 weeks, I'd say at least 2 to 3 times a week, I'm getting links for postings links for listings that are seemingly within their price range. But obviously we know homes are going to sell for much more than that. So there was this one specific property that a client sent me, and they were pre-approved kind of in the 500 range, 500,000. And they sent me the link and said, what would I need to do basically to get to this price point? And the home was listed at 575. And I looked at the photos. It's in Stittsville, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, gym in the basement, fully basically brand new home. And we looked at some of the recent sales on the street, and I think they were around 880 to $1 million. So I kind of, it's obviously clients aren't in the market every day, so I don't expect people to know that is the case, but it is somewhat misleading. Well, it's extremely misleading when you're listing them that low. And I understand there's an element of that auction, and they're obviously just trying to get as many eyes on the properties as possible. But it is, I can imagine it would be discouraging for buyers when they see that, gets their hopes up, and then they kind of have to, it's like, it just adds to the roller coaster.
I think that's the same as, any listing that we were seeing earlier in the year. And you still see them sometimes, but our, listings arbitrarily low in order to get more eyeballs on them, more people in the door for those, for auction. You can't list, they're not looking to list it at what it would go for, but I think people, to your point, Paul, people need to go in having done the research as well of what is realistic, and whether they're wasting their time or not. And I find, and I think that goes to when it's a property with a lot of eyeballs on it, or a good property that people just go in thinking that they're going to get it under ask or at that asking when it is priced substantially lower, like, needing to do that additional due diligence so they don't get their hopes up.
I mean, 400,000 lower.
See, this is the interesting thing about it, is because, when we started seeing it happening last year before Unreserved even existed, it just kind of happened slowly, and you kind of assumed at a certain point after a while that it happened. And then that stopped basically. And then Unreserved came along and they started it again in a different way. So whereas most properties that we're selling over, we're only selling for maybe, 5 to 50, when it came down to summer and everything. And then Unreserved came back in and they started doing, what we had seen in the past. So now I think when new buyers especially are used to what the market is now, they see that. So what you're saying, Dave, is they see it now, but they weren't used to seeing it because they weren't shopping before.
Right.
So, and when they were shopping before, it was like predominantly stuff like that happening. So the agents could be better, everyone was just more informed of and accepting of that's what it was. You were shopping 50 to 150 below what the asking price is. Now it's only with Unreserved listings that you're usually seeing that. So yes. And to the point of that you were just making, Paul, with your clients, some new buyers I'm working with, same thing. Like, and I told them, I had a call with them yesterday, and I said, just when I send you all these new listings, just watch out for the ones that are listed by Unreserved. And then they messaged me back. They're like, yeah, they're like, just like you said, this is the one. We really like it. It's Unreserved. And then I sent them a message saying like what the other homes on the street had sold for in the last couple of months. And they were just like, oh yeah. So, I mean, and that this one I think is it's at 700, and the sales on the street are like, 850 to 9 pretty much.
I mean, I guess the silver lining is that it does force a conversation, right? So if they are working with a real estate agent, at least you can then have that conversation with them. I fear the people that are shopping on their own potentially and trying to get a deal, and then they're going to get stuck in these auctions. I watched one last week live, and it was quite interesting. Like in the last, client sent it to me. Again, same thing. Client sent it to me an hour before the auction closed. He was already pre-approved. He's like, I need to get basically 20K more. I think we can get it for 360. I said, okay, well, let's see what we can do. So I told him what he needed to do. He was going to get it gifted. And the property at that time was at 355, and there was still an hour left. And I told him, I said, I wouldn't be surprised if this sells for 370, 375. Like it's not going to stay. Like you already have 22 bids on it, like there's going to be, it's going to those people are all sitting there watching their screen, just waiting to hit that button. And it ended up selling for 368, I believe.
Oh, okay. Well, he wasn't too far off.
No, but it was, it's forcing conversations, if nothing else.
And I mean, and the good thing about it is, as we've said before, though, is the transparency, right? So if you want to go for it and take a shot at it, you can, and you're not as disappointed or as stressed as sitting there anxiously waiting for your realtor to get in touch with you, or the selling agent to get in touch with your realtor, which, as we know, a lot of the time can even be a pain in the ass. So yeah.
But I think as well, there's going to be, I think there's a possibility too of people on some of these getting a good deal. I mean, yeah, just like before on, even a realtor listed property, people knowing or expecting there's going to be multiple offers, so they don't want to get involved in that. And I've seen it regularly, and I have tons of clients like that they have no interest. And I'm sure, Greg, you've had it all the time, where people are interested in a property, but they don't want to put an offer on it because they know that offers are being held, or that there is going to be multiple offers and they're just not interested. So I think for Unreserved or other, if any other auctions come up, that I'm sure there'll be a subset of people that have zero interest in getting involved with that, or don't understand the process, or aren't comfortable with it. And so, that will dilute the buyers a little bit. And when there's more product on the market as well, it's going to be less eyeballs on those unreserved listings. So it's still possible that, even for that place listed at 575, comps might be at 850, but they still might get it at 750, which is a great deal, right? They can't retract, right? Like unreserved, like it's a firm sale. They're not.
Well, yeah, it's a firm sale. Like, I mean, as long as the person submits their paperwork once they get the offer done.
Yeah. I mean, like, they can't retract, right? Like, I know you've had it where you've put in offers on places at list price, and the sellers are like, well, actually, you know what? That's not what we were hoping to get, so we're not going to sell it now. I think you mentioned last show.
Yeah, no, and they have a guaranteed price or something on their sales to the homeowners as well. I mean, I know it's evolving. I mean, just like our business is, like, this year is evolving. So it's, it's around, it'll always be here, and who knows what the next 6 months is going to bring. There's so much going on in the world. I don't know what's going to happen here in the next 6 months. Yeah, but we're still going to be selling homes, right, guys? We're still going to be in the business, right?